Hey there, YouTube. This is Mr. Budget. Coming with a new premium, well, not new-ish, new premium deck profile. Just tinkering with. Uh, it's an oldie but a goodie, but just something to pass the time as we wind down the year. I have not forgotten about the community posts I put up. I'm still working on that deck. I honestly I don't know if you guys are trolling me or not, but that Legion pair that you guys chose is really hard to try to focus the deck around. I'm still testing it out, still trying to make it work. But I thought in the meantime I'd give you something to tie you guys over until then. Uh, Probably that deck is probably going to be the last one I do of the year. Once I get everything squared away and try to figure out the deck is even good enough to be played. Um, but without further ado, it's a DI deck. It's one of the decks that I thought will be interesting since no one ever sees it around anymore. Since NOK was released, but nonetheless, I'm going to start with the G Zone first. Kind of just breeze through it. The G Zone hasn't really changed for most DI decks as it is. There's not enough new cards, and we haven't gotten Gastille back, so it's really not really much to say about the G Zone. So quick breeze through it. If you know it, you know it. You don't, you don't. There's other videos of mine for DI you can look at to figure out what the cards do. So we played 2 copies of Blader Mouse, 2 copies of Balam, 1 copy of Erectus, 1 copy of Damagul, 1 copy of Forfax, 1 copy of Jarvis, 1 Famito, 1 Dusk. Those are all the strides. Nothing really overabundant about them. You play them. If you can get a chance to go into them, great. I do believe for DI, this card needs to have some way to lower its discarding ability. Because having to discard 5 cards every time they go into this is like really rough. I would like to go on this more times than just 1, but there's no way that in DI you're discarding 5 cards turn after turn just to go into this. There's really no way. That's enough said about that. Those are all the stride units. Next are the G units. We have 1 False Wings, 1 Sabak, 1 Natsu, and 2 copies of Rebellious Storm Princess. Plus 5k. Plus 5k to the Vanguard, plus 5k to itself, so it's basically a 10k shield, but it makes your 12k Vanguard a 17 for the turn. Plus 10k, you would be able to soul charge and draw a card if you had darkness units, but you're not going to. And this one, if you get your soul big enough, you can neg your opponent rear guards and units minus a crit for every 10 that you have in soul. You're gonna go protect 1 in this deck, so that's basic DI knowledge. Alright, next we'll get into the actual deck profile. We're going to start with the grade 3s and work our way down. The boss unit of this deck is 4 copies of Demonic Deep Phantasm Emperor Brufas. We have not seen him for quite some time, so I figured to make a deck based around him. For those who don't know, act once per turn, counterblast 1, you may look through the entirety of your deck. Search for up to 3 copies of a card name to 1 card that you have in your soul. Add 1 copy of those 3 to your hand, put the other 2 into your soul. So basically you're going to look in your soul first and then perform his skill. Look through your entire deck, look for whatever card that you want. Add 1 copy of it, other cards go to the soul. And then he has the ability, if you have 2 or more grade 3s in soul, when he attacks, you may retire 1 of yours or your opponent's rear guards. It gets all of its power and critical. So for those who don't know, on Force 2, it changes the unit that's on it. It changes its crit to 2. So if you retire a unit on a Force 2 marker, you're going to get 2 crit off of its ability. Force 1 not so much, because Force 1 only applies when it's your opponent's turn. Next we play 4 copies of Reaper in the Shadows Zalmort. Zalmort is here to do 1 thing and one thing only, to get grade 3s into the soul, his ability. Counterblast 1, move himself to the soul. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck, call 1, put 1 into the soul. So he's just there to get the grade 3s rolling into the soul a bit faster. This will be replaced when I get my hands on the new Stride Fighter grade 3s we got out of the D collection. Overdress collection. So once I get my hand on that, this will be replaced by that Stride Fighter grade 3. The last grade 3 we play, of course, are our G Guardian, our G, oh, sorry, not G Guardians, our Heal Guardians. It's just another grade 3 that can be soul charged and go towards Brufas' ability. Plus, on grade 2, you do want to defend yourself against some of your opponent's more nastier boards. So those are all the grade 3s. Going into the grade 2s, we play 4 copies of Poison Sonicer, Adductor. His skill counter works similar to Brufas. It's Counter Blast 1, discard 1. Choose any grade 2 or less card from your deck. Find up to 3 copies of it. Put 2 into your soul, call the third. So this way you can get cards in your soul early, like things like Dimension Creeper or whatnot, and have a booster for the next card that's coming up. We also play 4 copies of Deep Gladys, one of the new promos, the Ride Fixer. Same ride skill, during the ride step, discard. Look at top 5, add a grade 2 or less card from among them to your hand. Ride Fixer is personal ability is when he's boosted, you can Soul Blast 1 and choose one of the units on your board from drop and from deck. Soul charge up to 3 copies of that card. So things like Dimension Creeper. So the idea is to use this to get Dimension Creeper out. Have Dimension Creeper boosted. Use this to get Dimension Creepers in your soul and 1 on board. Perform Dimension Creeper skills. Go to battle phase. Dimension Creeper boosts this. This targets Dimension Creeper. Creepers from drop back into soul. There's a reason for why we're doing that. It's allow you to cycle your Dimension Creepers over and over again, but there's another card that benefits off of seeing those cards go back in and out of the soul. And the last grade 2 that we're playing are 4 copies of Covetous Succubus. This is just another way to gain some defensive, some card advantage in your hand, and put cards that you want in your soul off of your board. Those are all the grade 2s. We're going to go into the grade 1s. We're playing 3 copies of Succubus of Pure Love. We have no way to outright search out Brufas, so we need cards to search out Brufas. I would run the Alluring Succubus, but it takes up a counterblast, so we kind of want to save that for other things. So 3 copies. We play 4 copies of the name said Dimension Creeper. For those who don't know, when it's in the soul, you can put it from soul to drop. Soul charge 2 cards. Excuse me. I'll go into a quick little demonstration at the end of this profile to show you how that little grade 2 trick works. So the other card that benefits on creepers moving in and out of soul, we play 4 copies of Doreen the Thruster. Her ability states auto, Vanguard, or Rearguard whenever a card is moved into your soul, she gets plus 5k. That's not just during your turn. That's not just during your main phase. It's whenever a card is put in the soul, even during the battle phase. So she can get bigger off of other card skills. The last grade 1s we're playing are 2 copies of the Overdressed Perfect Guard. There's a reason, because we needed space in our crit lineup. Not crit lineup, our trigger lineup. So we're going to use 2 of these. These do come in handy if your hand ends up running really low. Being able to Perfect Guard to tank and Perfect Guard to attack without dropping anything. So it does come in handy. Those are all of the grade 1s. Now we're going to go into the grade 0s. We play 3 copies of the Crit Stride Fighter. 3 copies of the plus 10k draw 1. 3 copies of Monochrome of Nightmare Land. 2 copies of March Rabbit of Nightmare Land. 1 Dark States Overtrigger and 1 V Starter. So the reason why we are only running 2 and 2 is because I wanted more room for the crits for the forward facts turn. In my other builds, I usually only run just the 3 crits, so I usually don't see a lot of crits for the forward facts turn. So I wanted to up that number, so I had to drop a bunch of others. But Perfect Guards are you really can't run the deck without them, and any DI player can tell you really can't run the deck without any counter charging. And Monochrome is the best counter charger the clan has. So that is it. So I'm going to give you a small demonstration of the grade 2 turn of what you can do if you have a perfect hand set up. So what you want to have on board is at least 1 counterblast, One counterblast. You're going to want to ride into. You're going to want to have Poisonicur, Deep Gladys in your hand, and whatever other cards that you have, and all of your Dimension Creepers in your deck. So the idea is to let's set up the scenario real quick. Sorry, this is taking a bit longer than I thought. Happens when you're not really prepared. Alright, so let's take a step off of what a grade 2 turn of this would look like. You'll have 3 other cards. You're going to ride into Deep Sonicur. Sorry, hold on. You're going to have 3 cards in your hand. This is a 3-card combo. So, you're going to ride into Poisonicur skill, Counterblast 1. Discard any card out of your hand. You're going to choose your Dimension Creepers. 1, 2, 3. You're going to move 2 into Soul, call the 3rd. You're going to shuffle your deck. Then you're going to call Deep Gladys. Now, for this to be purely like aggro, you could have a Doreen the Thruster on board if you would like. It doesn't really changes the combo too much, but it would make it a more potent turn. Simple fact of the matter is that since 2 cards went into the Soul due to any ability, she would have got in plus 10k, 5 for each card going into the Soul. Then you would have activated the 2 creepers in the Soul. Drop those. Soul charge 1, 2, 3, 4. She would have got 4 more triggers. So right now she has plus 30k on her, just off of doing one or 2 skills. So right now she's sitting at 36 by herself. Next, you would have swung with Deep Gladys, activating skill, Soul Blasting any card, or say the starter. You're going to choose Dimension Creeper as your target from the drop and from the deck. You're going to shove all 3 of these cards into your Soul, giving Doreen the Thruster another 3 triggers, which now makes her from being 36, 46, 51 by herself. Remember, each one of those dots counts as 5. Right? That's going to be 16. You'll swing with the Vanguard. If you get a trigger or not, drive check, no trigger, doesn't really matter. And then swing. That's basically how you want your grade 2 turn to kind of line up. Does it always happen? No, because it all depends on what you draw. But doing this would give your opponent a headache and put you in a really good position. Another card I would recommend, I'm not sure if it works or not, is the grade 2 from Overdress, the one that allows you to discard. Because this is during the ride phase when you perform Poisonicur. So you would Counterblast 1, discard the grade 2, Soul Blast 1, shove it to the bottom of the deck, and draw a new card. So you're not really losing any hand advantage. That is another option. Again, they're all hypothetical because it's not a guarantee that you're always going to have that combo live in your hand. But this grade 2 combo play is kind of what you want to go for when you're going to hit grade 2 for your bread and butter. Then you go into Brufas and then just start gaining more card advantage as you go, whittling down your deck. The idea is to whittle down your deck so much to when you go into things like Blader Mouse, go into Forfax, you have nothing but triggers in your deck and you just swing for game. Brufas' skill is really great on your first grade 3 turn, because you get to kind of control the board. You retire your opponent's units if they decide to leave anything on board. You have full control of what's in your Soul, what you're getting out of your Soul. So Brufas kind of gives your deck a bit of a toolboxy type of feel. Really great feel, especially for DI doesn't have that big of an option. But I figured this is a good deck for people who like Brufas, who want to just try something weird and out of left field instead of just playing NOK all the time. NOK Barrel Magnets all the time, so it's just something different. So if you like what you saw, if you want to try it out, I will. If you guys are willing, I put a post in the community to see if you guys want to see. I have deck profiles, the actual files up on our Facebook page. If not, then I won't. But if you guys are interested in that, I will get that set up. We are also trying to set up our Discord for tournaments, for Friday night tournaments. We're still trying to iron out the details of that and how that's going to work. Um, just small things preparing for the next year, next phase of what the channel is going to be looking like. Uh, Hopefully, with the new stuff coming out in Vanguard Divine Z, hopefully some of those units can transfer over to the premium aspect and make more those type of decks. If not, you will be seeing a lot more standard on this channel until either premium or V gets some more support. I know premium is getting support with the new trial decks. I don't know how we're going to do those. We might buy those, do fight videos on them just straight out of the box to see if they're meta viable right out of the box, or they're going to need to add things to them. I'm not sure. But I digress. So that was Brufas Premium. Really quick introduction to the deck. You guys will be seeing this deck on a fight video very soon. Like, subscribe. We're still growing. We're almost at the 200 mark of subscribers. If you guys have a friend who's interested in premium or interested in any of these other weird type of decks, doesn't want to spend too much money on the game, please steer them to the avenue of this channel. We're always willing to teach, help out, and inspire new players. I've been Mr. Budget. This has been Brufas, and we will see you guys next time or in the new year. Bless.